Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. That time I got Isakied as a slime. DanmachixTTIGRS by awalker0641. Chapter 5. Nothing but troubles. This whole journey we have been on has been one problem after another. First, we end up somewhere unknown, not too much of a hassle. However, then came with the issue of not being able to go back. Not a problem. But then we are attacked from every floor up by weird monsters that Hinata and I have never seen before. Well, to be fair, I haven't been to a lot of the other nations, but they still were not very familiar to Hinata. Then once we reached the 18th floor, a huge problem occurred. I missed seeing Hinata bat. Cough cough. We almost got mugged by some thugs. Yes, that was the worst thing to occur in my time here. Now on the way to the surface we ran into a horde of miniatures that just came out of the wall like kablam. So I did the smart thing and just burned them to a crisp with a flare circle, right? I did not feel like fighting them all. Well, apparently standing in the middle a raging fire with a shield up protecting you and your companion is a big no-no. What were you thinking? What? It was the quickest way to get rid of them. Well, you could have at least warned me. Are you always this carefree? As I was about to respond, there somehow was one minotaur left. How? I am not sure. So it started to run.
Looks like one got away, Hinata states while glaring at me.
I just let out a tired sigh. This sucks. Like seriously, how is this trip going so bad? Let's go and take care of it. I'll map the way up while we chase it. I hope it doesn't get that far away.
Rimuru and Hinata started running after the lone minotaur, chasing it up floor by floor, stopping for a few seconds to map the location using universal detect. However, every second they stop, the monster gets farther away. Finally, after 30 minutes of running, they see it in a dead end. Running up to it, Rimuru slashes it from behind. Blood sprays all on the wall, covering almost everything. So much blood that the red wall is even redder. And after the beast falls, right in front of Rimuru is nothing but a blood-stained wall and a magic stone.
Feels like there should be something there. Oh well. I go to pick up the stone and turn around and see Hinata still standing perfectly straight. Oi, how much stamina does this girl have? Hinata asks while looking around the air. What floor are we at? Let me see. Raphael. Less than notice. Master has traveled up to the 5th floor according to mapping data. Greater than. Wait, we seriously ran up to the 5th floor chasing this guy. Sigh. I look at Hinata while I adjust my mask to the side of my face. We're close to the entrance, I think, so let's go. All I get is a cold stare in return. I'm not sure how to read her. Like, is she looking at me or is she dissing me in her head? I feel as though I should be offended. Yet, I don't know by what. I hope we can get somewhere where food is for her sake and mine. Well, after finally mapping the last floors and finally reaching the exit, we found ourselves currently at our worst predicament yet. When we exited, we were surrounded by bricks and people. A lot of people were looking at us, but I didn't really care. I've gotten used to having eyes on me. Especially after the festival. When we found the exit and left, there was a town. Okay, nothing too much to worry about. A place similar to Ingrassia. Fantasy. Lots of glass and stone. But there are more demi-humans. Okay, we're not lost. Is what I thought until I turned around and looked up. Hinata. Rimuru looks up with one hand covering his face and another on his back. Yeah. Hinata says while still surveying the town. Was there a giant white tower that reached above the clouds on the continent? She turns around and looks up. Nope. Less than notice. Location cannot be found, master. Also, there appears to be multiple people equal to Veldora's power in the city, greater than. Hinata. Yeah, I think we're in a different world again. Sigh. Yep. So, what's next, after killing you because this is all your fault? I don't know. Fair. Darn magic that screws you. It had a 99% chance of working. How did a 1% bring us here? And then it dawned on me. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
What's so funny? My, Raphael's, magic was successful.
What? She looks at me with her brows creased. Think about it. It takes us to a place I have never gone to before. So that means it was a success. It had a 99% success rate to bring us to our destination. The 1% would send us somewhere else. Rimuru looks at Hinata with a smile. She just looks back at him with a deadpan face. Good for you. Rimuru and Hinata just stand there for a little bit, taking in the idea of being in another world. Again. They turn to each other. Well, let's go search for information. Get something to eat. Hinata raises an eyebrow while looking at Rimuru. You want to get something to eat in a place we don't even know. And we might not even have enough money for it. What are you thinking? Rimuru just shrugs. Well, somebody ate all the bento boxes Shuna packed for me, and I'm pretty sure that dungeon fruit is not going to hold you over for long. Do I also need to remind you that you are still a human? If you starve to death, Ruminius is going to kill me. As for money, I can just make copies of it. When we leave, I'll make sure to take the exact amount out of the system so it won't ruin the economy. As Hinata was going to protest, her stomach rumbles and sighs in defeat. As they turn around and are about to walk the town, there is a pink-haired woman in dress clothes and a vest right behind them. When they look at her, she just looks at them with a flushed expression and is standing still. Rimuru and Hinata look at each other, shrug, and just walk by her. As we stroll down the street like the Yakuza we are. In front of one of the buildings is a girl with light gray hair and gray eyes, wearing a white blouse with a leaf-colored knee-length long skirt. She also wearing a slightly long half-apron around her waist and a pair of brown boots over black stockings. As we are about to walk by, I pick up the smell of food cooking. I stop and approach the girl. Less than notice. Master, the girl seems to be using some type of magic. Be advised. Greater than. Oh ho, how interesting. She does not seem to be hostile, but better safe than sorry. Raphael, enable all defenses. You can't be too safe in a new world. As Rimuru and Hinata approach the girl, she stops and stares a little bit. She really looks intent at me and shakes her head. Can I help you? Ah, yay. I wipe a little bit of drool off my face because the food smells so good. Are you guys open? She says all cutesy. We're serving lunch right now, so you're welcome to come in. And my name's Seer, by the way. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Seer. I'm Rimuru and my partner here is Hinata. It's a pleasure, and I think we'll take you up on the lunch offer. All right, then follow me. She waves at us to follow. We enter a place called the Hostess of Fertility. It's a nice place with a bar, tables, and seats. But the most important part is the booze and food that's here. Seer seats us at a table and brings us some menus. Hinata and I order some sandwiches and tea. As the girl takes our orders and walks away, I see a pair of catgirls talking to each other while glancing at us and a human girl walking out of the kitchen serving some customers. Then I see an elf who is carrying dirty plates and glasses to the kitchen. All the waitresses are wearing the same thing Seer is. Behind the bar is a monster of a woman who looks like she could grab my head and squish it with ease. Scary. Even wearing a blue shirt with an apron over top make her still scary. Well, what should we do next? I look at Hinata, who's across from me. Should we really be talking about this now? She gives me a concerned look while glancing around. I just give her a shrug. Doesn't matter. I put up a soundproof barrier so nobody can hear us talk. I'll let it down when the food comes. Really, Raphael is the doing all that. Alright then. So let's go over what we know. We are in a different world and I am assuming you can't get us back. I just nod in response. Okay, so we have to figure out enough so we can fit in without being figured out that we are not from here. And can you rework your magic so we can go home? Also, we probably do not want to mess too much around in this world so we don't screw with the world and how the time flows. I put my elbow on the table and rest my cheek in my hand. I've been trying, but it will take a while. I'll have to get my hands on some magical books here to see if they can be of any help in reformatting the spell. Hinata just nods in response. And as for messing with this world, it might be a little late for that. She just gives me a concerned look. What do you mean? I just turn away and look around while I explain what Raphael told me. It's like this. We either were meant to be here, which is why the magic didn't work properly, making us come here and act out our parts in this world where our choices affect it. Or it's the butterfly effect. All I get in response is, the butterfly effect? I just nod and explain. We were not meant to be here, and one single action will create a branching timeline that takes this world on a different course. Meaning that when I ate that sheep thing, I created another timeline. Now if we left before I did that, then this world would be running a whole different course. She raises her eyebrows in response. I see. So what you're saying is that it was meant to be this way or it's entirely your fault. I just shrug in response. Either way the world is already affected and so we might as well do what we please till we get home while not sticking out. All I get is a nod in confirmation. Also, I've been trying to contact my subordinates but it seemed that nobody is responding. So I can't find out the time difference between our worlds. I see. Have you tried contacting Veldora yet? While I look around and see the catgirls get yelled at by the tall brawny woman I just give a shrug. That old man hasn't responded or even tried to answer me. Probably reading some manga or working in the labyrinth. Most likely reading manga. I look back at her, so for now we just got to do what we can. While I turn back to look at Hinata I see Seer coming over. That reminds me of something. Also, let me do the talking here. Hinata shoots me a confused look but just nods in agreement. Seer comes over to us and hands us our food and tea. Here you go. I just give her a smile and thanks. Do you mind if I sit with you? Business is pretty slow today. And it's rare to have a pair of beautiful girls like you walking in here. At the last statement I choke on the tea I'm drinking. Hinata just as calm as ever sets her tea down and starts to eat. Thanks, and I don't see a problem with it if your boss doesn't mind. I hope that she does. I don't want to talk to you. Seer looks at the tall woman and she just nods. Really, what kind of boss is she that just lets one of her workers talk with the costumers? With the nod Seer sits in a chair. While doing this I notice the other waitresses are now paying more attention to our table. Especially the elf. When she sits down I have Raphael activate thought acceleration. So where are you from? I never have seen either of you here before. I just look at her while eating my sandwich. Between bites I respond. Well, we are from a place that's pretty far away. I doubt you have even heard of it. She just tilts her head. What's it called? I might recognize it. Adventurers do come here often. Great, now how do you respond to that? Oh, I'm from Tempest, which is in a totally different world. Oh, and it's filled with monsters. And I'm the head honcho over there. Y'all, like she'd believe that.
Trust me, you defiantly have not heard of it. She just looks a little annoyed but then accepts it. She then turns to Hinata and asks the same question. She just shrugs in response and says the same place as me. I see. So what do you plan to do here?
I just tap my chin to act like I'm thinking while chewing my food. Well, Inquisitor, we're here to conquer your world. We'll probably be here for a couple of months and do some exploring for a while then go somewhere else. Oh, so you're not adventurers? So looks at me and Hinata with a questioning gaze. I just shrug. We are more like travelers going from one place to another. As I finished my last sandwich and tea, Seer was going to ask another question. However, the doors of the pub opened and in came an elf dressed like the girl with pink hair. We turn to look at her when she asks the black-haired catgirl question. She points to us and the elf turns and walk over to us. As I got a closer look, her ears are more round than the other elf. I guess that means she must be a half-elf. She has brown hair and emerald eyes. Excuse me ladies, but would you be kind enough to come with me to the guild? I look at Hinata and she looks at me. We just shrug and nod in agreement. I thank Seer for the company and pay the bill and follow the half-elf outside. What could possibly be in store for us now? What, are we going to meet a god? Peefed, like that would ever happen. An elf's thoughts today would seem like another day. Adventures coming in and out. Serving food and drinks to them and our regulars. Well, till Seer brought in a pair of women whose beauty makes the gods jealous. The black-haired one reminds me of myself. Cold. But the blue-haired woman. She seems to be joyful. I was worried for a moment because the girl in white seems to be very strong. The girl in black doesn't though, which is odd because her clothing seems expensive and her weapon is first class. Yet, they just seemed like average costumers. Well, till they were seated and Seer left to get their order. Then I could not even hear a peep from them, and they were talking about something. With my level 4 hearing I could not even hear a word from them. I asked Anya and Chole due to them having better senses than me, but they did not hear anything either. They said that maybe she's a royal and the other one is her bodyguard. I won't deny the possibility. Even Mamma Mia did not hear a word they said. And when Seer brought back their food and sat with them, I made sure to pay close attention for Sir's sake and to get information. But the questions she asked were met with vague answers. Before she could ask any more, a guild employee came and took them with her. When they paid, it seems some of the coins are newer than the others. Odd, because not many new coins have been minted lately. When I asked Seer what she thought, all I got was a giggle and her saying that things are going to be interesting. I'll have to make sure to keep an eye on them.